we've got a problem with the crafter. A big problem. And the problem is that the alarm kept going off on the van, no matter what I'd done. No matter if I unlocked the van, no matter if I locked the van, if I started the van, didn't start the van, the alarm was constantly going off. In the doors, there's little micro switches that, when your doors are shut, the interior lights come on or go off and blah blah blah, and they can go down, it can cause a problem. This wasn't the case. I checked all the micro switches, they were fine. So it was just an absolute pain in the arse. This happened at about 1 AM in the morning. The alarm just went off. There was no prior issues or nothing like that. But after looking online and after fiddling about a little bit, I stumbled across a problem, an issue, something that you may or may not know about. And that is this. Yes, this light cluster. This light cluster. Right, now hopefully I'm going to be able to show you one of the problems. Do you see right up there? That right there is where the aerial connects on the outside of the van. Now that connection for the aerial, what happens is over time it becomes a little bit loose. As you drive along, moisture gets in, water gets in, and it drips down on this component here. Let's see if we can test this right now. If I take the main power lead and plug it back into the unit, hear the alarm? The alarm's going off. And it's going to keep going off now. Wonderful. Right, we'll have to swap it round. Also, you'll notice that the lights come on, but none of the actual lights will work. Don't know why. It's just... let's unplug it. Right. We've got to sit now and wait for the alarms to go off. There we go, alarm's off. Right, some of the connections in here are a little bit tricky to get out, so you do need to poke them with something. Not the recommended tool, but it works for me. Right, I have taken this out before. When you undo all these screws, there is a massive circuit board behind this because it's got sensors on it. It's got, you know, buttons on it, switches on it, lights in it, things like that. It's quite a bit of complicated kit. Like I said, the moisture, I don't know if you can just see there, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but there are a couple of little moisture drops right there. So what's been happening is, where the aerial connection is, water's getting in and it's dripping down onto this, and it's basically screwing it up. So we sourced another one. The big test now to see if that is the problem is to plug it in. This is either going to work or I'm going to look an absolute knob. Vehicle electrics is kind of my thing. I'm not an expert, or am I? Well, anyway, let's plug it in and see what happens. First of all, we're going to connect the main power. Or are we? Yes, we are. Let's put the main power in and see just what happens. Right, we've got mains power in and the lights work. Apart from that one, which is this bulb here. So we can just take one bulb out of the old one, pop it in there, and it works. So we've got all the lights working on this. That unit's fine. Remember, when I plug this one into the mains, into the actual circuit itself, it set the alarm off. So there's something going wrong inside this that shouldn't be happening. So let's plug the rest of the plugs in and see what goes on. So we've got one plug which goes to the actual sensor. All good so far. We've got the black plug which goes in the end here. It's really hard to show you what's going on because it just is. That one's in fine. And then we have the small purple one. So that's the whole unit plugged in. Lights work, lights go off. Spotlights work, spotlights go off. Main power unplugged. We're going to plug the old unit back in to the mains power. See? No lights whatsoever. Nothing works on it. Plug the new one in. All working absolutely perfect. Right, now that can go back up in the ceiling where it's meant to be. But here's the but bit. We could really do with covering this over here just so no more moisture gets into these little tiny holes or into the, you know, the holders where the lights are, so this can be a little bit more protected. I mean, even putting tape over it to stop the moisture or the water getting in to these exposed parts would be an absolute bonus. And if you have got a crafter or a sprinter and this part is all working fine, I highly recommend that you get in there, you get some tape and you cover this whole section over, so water, if it does drip in off the aerial socket, which is another thing, get out there, get up there and check it. You just get from behind and you just check it from behind. Get up there and check it, make sure that's all tight, and also cover that in some sort of tape, which is what we're going to do right now. We're going to cover this with something that will help protect it. That's not the prettiest of jobs, I know, but if water was to go on there, it stops it getting in the circuit board, which is what we want. We want to protect this and see if we can keep all the circuit board inside, because you try and buy a new one of them and they're going to cost you anything between £200 and £500. We picked this one up on Amazon, which was second hand, for about £45, but you can't find them. They're really rare to find. If you do have one, keep it as a spare. Really, honestly, just keep it as a spare. So let's get this back up there, get it all in place, and we should be done. Right, so there's the new one in place now. We can test the lights all work. That one there is for your door switches, there for your individual lights. This one is to turn the sensors off. You can see there's a little light that comes on there. So if you are sleeping in your van of a night time and you want none of the sensors to work in the van, press that little button. The little light will come on just to tell you that they're off. That one there, that's a ejector seat. I'll be totally honest with you, it's a load sensor, something to do with weight, and we don't need it. It's obsolete. No longer needed. But there's your light cluster there. That is all working, that's all perfect. That's just saved us an absolute ton of money if you didn't know what you were doing with electrics and your alarm is going off in a crafter, and I should imagine it would be the same in a sprinter as well. Right, I know that was a really short video, but if your alarm is going off on your Volkswagen Crafter, that could be one of the main problems with it. If it is going off and it continues to go off and it doesn't stop going off, take out the power lead from the actual light cluster. If it goes off, then that is your problem. It will save you an absolute fortune on getting electrical engineers out. Electrical engineers? Vehicle electricians, people who deal with Volkswagen alarms, plug it into computers, and possibly take this to Volkswagen themselves. They're all costs that you don't need to incur. Also, I'm going to give a big shout out, you won't be able to see it, to two of my friends on Instagram who are the Accidental Academics. Holly and Adam. Me and Adam had a big discussion on basically where the water's coming in, and it was actually Adam that came up with the idea of the aerial leaking. So, goes inside, has a little bit of a look. So, big shout out and a massive thank you to Adam for coming up with that suggestion. That was the problem and it fixed it. The light cluster worked perfect. Like I said, they're not cheap to buy. So if you do have one in your van, cover it up with something, just protect it before water gets into it, because you just never know. Right, so I'm going to go now. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, subscribe. There's loads of people watching the videos who are not subscribed, and that makes me sad. I know I haven't got really like a pretty face to be sad with, but you know, come on. I'm going now. I'm waffling on. Bye. Give us a thumbs up. Whatever you do it well. See ya.
Staring at you looking dumb. No, I don't ever hold my tongue. I will never be what you expect. Maybe you need to get your eyes checked. I don't care if you think I'm stuck up.